So let me ask you first of all, Bapsi Sidhwa, every novelist has got an image of how their book would play as a film. How do you think Earth rates compared to how you would imagined the book would turn out?
Well, it's the strange thing is I never thought Earth was cracking India and Ice Candy Man. That's what the book is called. I never thought it was sort of movie material. I thought it was too complex. And when Deepa said she was making this into a movie, the movie Earth, I was very taken aback and also very, very pleased. It is a very complex book, and when she talked about the movie, of course, I had images in my mind, tumbling. And I had a different vision. I thought of a lot of voiceover and, the child's voice, because after all, the author deals with the voice. And that's what I kept on thinking of as the movie. And then Deepa wrote the script, and she brought it over where I was teaching at Mount Holyoke in Massachusetts. And we went over it together. And very soon, as we were working on it closely together, I realized that Deepa Mehta had read the book, and she had her own vision, the cinematic vision of what the book should be.
And is it a vision? Is it a vision? And having seen the finished product, is it a vision that you're happy with?
Well, I am very happy with the finished product, but I did accept that my vision would interfere with Deepa's, and I very soon conceded that we would neither of us be satisfied if I interfered at all. So I wanted Deepa's vision, because she knew what she was doing as a cinema person. I wanted that to triumph, and I think she did a glorious job of it.
Your book and the film are about your childhood years in Lahore and the terrible trauma of Partition, which was visited on that city. Yet the movie had to be filmed not in Lahore, but in Delhi for political reasons. That's a sad statement.
Yes, because Deepa is of Indian origins, and a lot of the cast was Indian, although the whole crew and Deepa herself actually are Canadian, and the crew was American and British and Canadian. But it did cause problems for getting visas and permissions to shoot in Lahore. We tried very much. I would have liked it, so would have Deepa, but it was very problematic.
How much is the novel and the film a true-to-life account of your childhood?
Well, it's a novel. It is not an autobiography, but I have lent a lot of incidents in my life to this child who is Lenny, through whose eyes the whole book and the whole Earth are filmed, And she's a much more feisty child than I ever was. She is, of course, a child who's been informed by the adult consciousness. When you're reading the book, you're very conscious of this, that there's the voice of the adult also, very, very rare, but it is resonating there, which gives the child sophistication. Because a childish voice is very, very boring. And if it's informed by something a little more astute and sophisticated, it picks up its own magic.
But there is a sense of sadness and deep incomprehension in both the book and the movie about the way in which the people of India are cracking India, are tearing India up.
Well, yes, you see, I am talking of a particular period. The bewilderment which went on when suddenly it was announced that India is going to be divided. And this is the reflection of the poor people who have not had a chance for education. I mean, it's not just the illiterate people. Illiterate is not the right word, because they're very smart people, but they're not lettered. And even the people who had the so-called education, they were bewildered. What does the division of India entail? How will it be divided? Where will the line of division grow? And especially for the poor people, the peasants, it was incomprehensible, because they're rooted in the soil and it's impossible to dislodge a peasant. And they had to be very brutal to dislodge them. So they were bewildered, the child is bewildered, her family is bewildered, everybody around her, because you cannot imagine a country being divided, broken, cracked.
And some historians have said that only literature has really captured the social dimension of those really very painful and agonizing times.
Well, I guess that is historically true in every case, whether you're talking of Tolstoy's historical account of war, or you're talking of many other writers talking about social upheavals in times of revolution. I think the novelist comes through to the larger truth, and definitely in the case of India and Pakistan, the novelists have done a much better job than the historian. The
And
historians have allowed too much bias and prejudice into what they say sometimes.
And there's one question I've wanted to ask you ever since I read Ice Candy Man for the first time. Did you have an Aya and did you betray her?
No. This Aya is very, very fictitious. I never did betray an Aya. Actually, the scene where the carts ride into the house to loot the house, that is true. That did happen, and my mother was there, and we were there, and she put her hands on our heads and faced the mob. And the cook came out and said, "What do you bastards think you're up to? Get lost. This is a Parsi household. They're not Hindus." And the mob had gone away. But for fictitious purposes and the purpose of my story, where I wanted to show what happened to the women. They were kidnapped. Hundreds and thousands of women were kidnapped. So when Aya is kidnapped, I use that incident around which to wind this story.
We'll leave the interview there, but thank you very much indeed for finding the time to talk to us. But please stay on the line just for 1 minute.
Okay, Andy.